Welcome back to the Steelers Breakdown Podcast. Nick Faribault here with you guys. And I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys. It's the bye week, and so lots to kind of break down. And I think it's cool to actually have some time just to sit back and kind of look at trends and things that the Steelers have done over the first 4 weeks. And two questions I really have about this team is the defense finally kind of fixing itself, and are we kind of seeing them around a corner? And then two, is this offensive style actually sustainable? And so I want to talk about those two things today. I'm going to write articles about both of them. And let's talk about the defense first, because I think to me, this defense is very much a blitz heavy, chaos related group. If you look at their havoc rate, which is all those TFL, sacks, picks, forced fumbles, all that, right? All that good stuff the Steelers are really good at. They are 10th in the league right now. And I think that's no surprise. And over the last 2 weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if they are higher. I only have the first 4 weeks. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's higher. They really feasted on these two offensive lines, and the Patriots and the Vikings. Vikings really got just battered and bruised and didn't really have an offensive line to speak of, to be quite honest with you, by the end of this. But it's really kind of fun to see the Steelers try and get after it. And their blitz style has really kind of ratcheted up against some of these quarterbacks. And I mean, you think about guys like Dylan Gabriel on the schedule, you think about Jake Browning, all of these things I think are really going to make the Steelers a better defense against bad quarterbacks. Now, when we see, Jordan Love come on the schedule and Justin Herbert, and those aren't too far off, I'm actually fascinated to see how this works because I still think there are some cracks in the defense. They haven't been tested a ton as a run defense in terms of just a team playing even or up on them. The Vikings also just got behind really quickly. The Patriots fumbled the ball 5 times. So there are some things I think to keep in mind there. But I do think this blitz heavy style has been extremely good. It has worked for this team. It is what they have as a kind of collective. This is a football team to me that really fits a kind of blitzing style, and so that's what they've adopted, and it's worked at a really high level for them. So I think they're in the correct realm there. I will say when you kind of look at the coverage plan, it's still a little static. They're moving around more and they're doing some different things, and it's not really coached. It's kind of just the players doing it whenever they want to do it. That has kind of become, I think, pretty clear when you watch the tape. It's not really coached up rotations. Different players get in there, they do different things. They show two high, maybe it's actually one, different things like that. So they have kind of mixed that up a little more. Still some communication issues I really would like to see fixed. Certainly, I think that they need that more, but they've done a nice job of kind of playing to their personnel strengths. And I'm interested to see how it works against better teams because I think they're going to have to kind of try and find some water in some of the four-man rushes and just trying to find some of that. But I'm totally okay with the blitz rate. I think the blitz rate's high well over 40% right now. And that's not really a surprise considering just how effective it's been. You can't live like that all the time, but it's working for right now because this team is really athletic and they're just really, really tough to kind of handle when you have guys like Nick Herbig and TJ Watt and others that could just win. So I think that's really good for the Steelers. Their front's always going to be one of the best things about this football team. And I think they're going to be able to continue to get some pressure and get after guys. So I do think that's going to be a positive for them the whole year. The other thing that I'm kind of still a little bit questionable about is this offense. And this offense, you look kind of below the surface, and there's a lot of positives, right? It's not like this is bad. This offense has played well within its structures. You look at it, and they have kind of just taking what the defense has given them. A lot of too high stuff, so they pepper it underneath and they get a lot of yak. When they go man to man, they kind of went over top. High completion percentage. They run some picks. They run some different things that can work really well in those instances. And it's kind of become this outlier offense that is really rare. It reminds you a lot of the 2020, 2021 offenses with Big Ben. But Rodgers clearly has juice still in his arm, right? Ben at that point did not have nearly as much juice in his arm, got by with his mental game and different things of that sort. But now I think it's fairly clearly kind of trying to keep guys off Aaron Rodgers because the offensive line still is a little bit of an up and down mess. And two, they are very much kind of in flux on what they're doing. Not everything right now is, I think, set in stone, right? They're not always going to get the ball out in 2.17 seconds like they did this last week. That to me is just absolutely bonkers. When you get the ball out that quickly, it is very hard, I think, to fully kind of buy into this offense as a real offense. But I also don't think that's just their whole offensive game plan. When you're going to see man coverage and you're going to see teams take away more of the cushion that they have, I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see how the Steelers counteract that. And I think that's going to happen at some point, maybe against the Browns. The Browns have the guys to kind of match up and just play man to man. And I think that's probably going to be something that they'll see. And so I'm just interested to see how they do that, especially given the Browns have a front that is to be reckoned with. And so this defense has its issues, and this offense has, I think, a solid plan right now that's keeping them sustainable, but is it sustainable long term? And I think those are the questions you kind of have to ask. The running game, I think, with more Darnell Washington is extremely sustainable. I think he is a huge help to them. You don't even need to put the jumbo package out there all the time with Spence. I just think what Darnell Washington does and how he changes kind of the calculus for any team when you were that big and you were that good of a blocker. It changes everything that you do. It changes the math for the other team. It just changes kind of everything that they have to do. It changes the gaps. It changes the run fits. And so all of that kind of I think comes up when you look at this offense. And if they can run the ball, I mean that's just another conduit, right? You can force teams out of too high, get them into one, those one high kind of single coverages, and maybe you can take shots down the football field, which lead to that. It's just we got to kind of see how this evolves and how the offense holds up. You'd like to see maybe I don't really necessarily want to see them kind of launch 50-yard passes down the football field. What I kind of actually want to see is the 15 to 20-yard digs, right? Those kind of areas. I don't necessarily need to see as much of the deep ball getting thrown down the sideline like it was last year. That's not necessarily what I'm asking for. I'm kind of more asking for like, where's the intermediate game? And I think that's a fair question to ask. Um, and so we'll kind of see um, where this goes and how the Steelers kind of embrace this as I think teams are going to continue to try and test them and try and get them out of this quick game stuff. But the Steelers, to their credit, fifth in yak so far this season, third in yak over expectation. DK Metcalf leads the league in yak per reception. I mean, there's just a positive um, positive setting for I think them where they're at right now. So if they can continue to evolve this offense and get that kind of intermediate play action game going, continue to run the football, I think it's promising to see if that formula continues. But it is a fascinating team that is kind of in the middle of finding out what they are. I think clearly, these early buy is fun because the Steelers have undergone so much change since that week one game in New York. In New York, they were super play action heavy defense. They did blitz a lot, but weren't getting home. Now they're getting home a ton. There's a bunch of different things that are working in their favor. And so it's just kind of a constant evolution of this football team. And I think this is a team that actually is going to evolve a lot over this year. And I'm really excited to see how it goes. All right, folks, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell for more. And thanks for watching.